Hey folks, I just want to go through a quick run through of all the albums by a group that most people seem to either brush under the rug, or maybe people never heard of before, or maybe some of you guys have heard of them, but you totally forgot who they were. My introduction to the Free Design was by my good friend that I always watch all the time here on YouTube, and that's Calico Silver Jeff. He had mentioned about the Free Design, and I think he mentioned about Kites Are Fun. I'm like, oh, okay. I went on YouTube or it was either YouTube or Spotify a few years ago, a few years back. And I loved it. It was fun. It was so great. I'm like, oh man, I gotta get into the albums. I gotta see what else they sounded like. Um, through the years, they definitely sounded a little bit different. Through the years, of course. But they only had but they really had but only the years that they were active or whatever, only 5 years, which is crazy to think. Um, I would also like to do I don't know, maybe not a ranking video, but maybe like somewhat of an individually discography video. But I just want to just go through quickly here of the albums that the Free Design did during their original 5 years that they were that they were together, or whatever. Well, if you don't know, they were from New York City. They were basically a family group, and their last names were Dedrick. And I think by the time once they were recording their second album, which was called If You Could Be Born Again or whatever, they brought in their other sister, and one of the other siblings left or whatever. So there was a lot of back and forth of of the ones that were in the band, but excuse me. But by 72, there were only about three. There was like two of the sisters and one of the brothers that were on the last two records that they had, and their last one being "There Is a Song." Um, they did, however, way later, they end up resuscitating their career. They kind of have a little bit of a resurgence in the early 2000s, and there was a song called "Love You," which was from a movie starring Will Ferrell and Dustin Hoffman that was in that movie. And it became somewhat of a, it kind of became a song everybody kind of knew, outside of the United States, of course, like in every other, the other countries in Europe or whatever. But anyways, these guys definitely had a very long history. Um, I don't think their songs were really as big, nor their albums, but I think a lot of people are starting to, I would say at least the last couple of past decades now, people are starting to realize who the Free Design actually are. But like I said, I'm just gonna go through quickly here of the albums in order. I'm not going to mention about the two albums that came out, of course, when they decided to join back again in the early 2000s. I think one of them was called Cosmic. I don't remember the last. Something Cosmic came out in 2001, and there was another album in 2005. I'm not going to mention about any. These are just going to be the core albums that they came out with from 67 to 72. And so they very much sound very, Brazilian, bossa nova. They have a lot of that Burt Bacharach isms, a lot of that Herb Albert kind of, not to the extent of the horns, but you know what I mean. Just very easy listening, very, Baroque and sunshine pop mixed in as well. It reminded me a lot of, like Spanking Our Gang and the Peppermint Rainbow, or whatever. Even the Peppermint Trolley, they remind me of a little bit too. But anyways, so this is their first album, Kites Are Fun. This came out in April of 67. I love this album. It's really brilliant, with every one of these songs being almost to the high standard here. Like Kites Are Fun. I love the great vocal arrangements in that song. Sorry, folks, my throat is very kind of bugging me a little bit. Anyways, it's great. And their record label, forgot to mention here, the record label is called Project 3. They were assigned to that record label. I don't know who owns that record label, but yeah, they were approached to that record label. Make the Madness. Oh, I love Make the Madness Stop. It's great. Yep. My Brother Woody. I do love their cover, Michelle. It's a really, really, really solid album. Every great. So I can mention definitely a lot of the Dedrick, Chris Dedrick, Sandy Dedrick, Bruce Dedrick. Who's the other Dedrick on here? Stephanie Dedrick. And just everyone else on this album. Just fantastic. And you also got the great Peter Griffin. Or Peter, not Peter Griffin. What's his name? See, I'm reading the liner note thing on here. What's his name? Paul Griffin. Never mind. Peter Griffin. Jeez. Paul Griffin. He played piano on some of the tracks here on this album, and it's fantastic. We all know him. He played on Highway 61, you know? And the recording engineer was Phil Ramone, which of course later on he would be recording probably one of Billy Joel's best albums, which was The Strangers. So yeah, the thing, wow, this is way back here. He was a recording engineer for the album, so that's kind of cool. The second album's called You Could Be Born Again. This is another really great album by the group. Like I said, I think they did switch out somebody. I don't remember who it was. Some of these tracks are amazing. They also cover Eleanor Rigby as well, which is fantastic. I Found Love, which was a Chris Dedrick song. Most of these songs were definitely written by Chris. He was mostly the main writer. Happy Together, they do. And I really like their vocal harmonies, you know what I mean? They could just feel almost the presence in the recording studio. He plays trumpet on here. Chris Dedrick, and even Bruce Dedrick playing guitar. And you got millions of people on here that played on this album for sure. And arranged by Chris Dedrick. That's kind of cool. And the cover photography was done by Arthur Alexander. I don't know if it's the same Arthur Alexander. Maybe it's a different one or whatever. Maybe a different Alexander. Arthur Alexander. And in '69, they came out with an album called Heaven and Earth, which is actually really pretty good too. Once again, a lot of the songs recorded by, or most of the songs pretty much written by Chris Dedrick. He was mostly, like I said, definitely was the main writer for most of the songs that the Free Design did. I do love Girls Alone, like that song. They cover that Gershwin, everybody of their mother did that, Summertime. And they also do a great cover of Memories, which is the Mac Davis song. Really great, you know? So we got the two sisters and the two brothers, and I think originally back in, from the Kites Are Fun album, they only had but three of the siblings, I believe, that were on here. Plus the other ones that are related or whatever somewhat. But yeah, I do like Heaven and Earth. You know, it has a little bit more of the later what's to come into the early '70s. A little bit. Yeah, I do like the album very much. Then this is an album, and then the next one here, this one I don't really care as much about because they throw in some of their songs that they had on the other albums that they had a little bit, early in their career. This one's from 1970. It's called Sing for Very Important People. I don't know about that album cover. It looks kind of childish a little bit. Just have Kites Are Fun again. I do love Rondo Go Round. Some of these fun, goofy songs, Children's Waltz. I was kind of reading up. This was supposed to be somewhat like, if you aren't aware of the Peter, Paul, and Mary I guess, later albums or whatever. They had Peter, Paul, and Mommy was the name of the record. It was mostly like a children's record. So they were trying to put out their own children's album on here. Sorry. Anyways, yeah. My voice is killing me. Sorry. Almost done here though. Okay. The next album is called Stars, Time, Bubbles, and Love. This one's another okay album. Some of the songs are okay on here. Bubbles I'm not really a big fan of. Butterflies Are Free, which is actually the name of the you can actually get these albums for a decent price on Amazon. That's the name of the this little box set that they came out with a while ago. Starlight. They also cover a Laura Nyro song called Time and Love, which is okay. Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Yeah, whatever. Some of it's okay. You know, I'm not really a big fan of it. And then these are the two of the 1972 albums that they came out with. This one's called One by One. And it's a little bit later in their career, a little bit, so it sounds a little bit different. Mostly sung by the Dedricks here, including Light My Fire. Great cover of that song. Yeah, some of these are okay, once again, you know. I kind of prefer a little bit of the earlier Free Design, you know. Except for the last one that comes up here at the end here. Yeah, you know, this one's kind of, yeah, not really a huge fan on it. And Bob Cotto, yeah, he was someone of a famous photographer. And then the last one they did is called There Is a Song. And I remember posting a song back a year ago or a year and a half ago of a song that they did called Peter, Paul, and Mary. Almost a dedication to them somewhat. Yeah, this was basically their last album during the during the years that they were active, you know, their first year there, before later on when they came back. I do like The Cymbals Ring. I like that one. I Want to Be There. The song, the title of the album, There Is a Song, is a beautiful song. I think this one's definitely one of my favorite out of their later albums. You know what I mean? It sounds a little bit better, I think. Production, again, by Chris Dedrick. It's a pretty good album. I like it. And then they got maybe but a few musicians on the album. But anyways, that's all I gotta say about the Free Design. Definitely want to go back, maybe do somewhat of a not a ranking video. Why do people need to? See, it's not gonna be interesting if I do a ranking video because it's gonna bore people's minds. You know what I mean? But so yeah, if you like that late 60s, early 70s, you know, that kind of music of that time, you'll definitely love the Free Design. You know, I think most people forgot about them for sure. And yeah, what can I say? You know, look at this, making the video so long here to bore your minds, but whatever. What can I say? Absolutely love the Free Design. Definitely should check out Butterflies Are Free. Their original during this first period there. Great, fantastic. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.